here ever read the Parashat Aman? The Parashat that talks about Manna? Anybody here is awake? Manna bread, you guys know the bread that came from heaven? Read it? You with me? I'm the only one. I learned this already, so it's for you. Okay, so the manna was a food from heaven, literally, that HaKadosh Baruch Hu decided to give to Am Yisrael for 40 years. Food came from heaven. Based on your righteousness, that's where the food landed. If you were righteous, it landed right at your doorstep. If you were wicked, it was over the hill, you had to go walk for it. Which was embarrassing because everybody would know, oh, you're Rasha. Why, you don't have manna, do you? I don't see any manna on your doorstep. I don't see any newspapers on your doorstep. I see newspaper on your doorstep, but not manna on your doorstep. Maybe if you remove the newspaper, you'll have manna instead. Stop reading all the garbage in the newspapers and read some Torah. Maybe you'll have some manna instead. So it was embarrassing too. But what's so special about this manna? Aside from the fact that physically speaking, Am Yisrael didn't have to go to the bathroom for 40 years. No one had to go to the bathroom. Why? Every time you eat, you and I eat, we eat, part of the food turns into blood. The rest that doesn't turn into blood, guess what? Leave your body. That's waste. Now, the manna was pure holiness to such an extent that the entire manna turned into blood. No one had to go to the bathroom for 40 years. You don't have to find any toilets anywhere in the desert. There's no toilets. Why? There's no need. 40 years Am Yisrael had brand new clothes on, but they never had a second replacement. 40 years HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them that one simla. What they wore remained brand new. They didn't have to go shopping. They didn't have to go to Macy's, see all the immodest women there. They didn't have to go to the mall. They didn't have to go anywhere. Why? Their clothes were renewed every day. Renewed. Says that in Torah, in Sefer Dvarim, 40 years you didn't have to replace your smalot. What's smalot? Smalot is the gowns or dresses, but for men, not just for women. Now, 40 years we didn't have to go to the bathroom. 40 years we didn't have to change our clothes. Now, this manna, you would think, well, if I eat the same thing for 40 years, maybe I get bored. But the beauty of this manna, it says that this manna in Sefer Bamidbar, Numbers, chapter 11, verse number 7. The manna was like coriander seed, and its color was like the color of the bedolach. The people would stroll and gather it and grind it in a mill, pound it in a mortar, and cook it in a pot, and make it into cakes. And the taste was like the taste of dough kneaded with oil. When the dew descended upon the camp at night, the manna would descend upon it. So, on one hand, the sages say that this manna tasted like anything you want. You thought about ice cream, it tastes like ice cream. You thought about steak, it tasted like steak. You thought about ice cream with steak on top of it, that's what it tasted. Whatever you thought in your mind, you don't have to say it. You don't have to write a letter to Hashem. Dear Hashem, tomorrow please send me manna and a taste of eggs with cheese and a little bit of turkey bacon kosher from the rabbi over here. No, there's no order. What you thought is what it tasted like. Live. Meaning, first bite you thought about ice cream, it tastes like ice cream. Second bite you want steak, it tastes like steak. Third bite you want some eggs, it tastes like eggs. Fourth bite you want eggs and cheese too, it tastes like steak. Whatever you wanted, that's how it tasted like. So then there's a question. If it tasted like whatever you want, naturally, why does the Pasuk say that they gathered it, they grinded it, they cooked it, they fried it? For what? Why are you grinding it? Why are you cooking? If it already tastes like anything you want, what do you want it to taste like? Chicken cutlets? Think chicken cutlets, schnitzel from Rabbanit Levana, tastes delicious. Rav Yaron, not so much. Rabbanit Levana, delicious. What do you want? You want chicken cutlets? Have chicken cutlets. You want buekas like we have over here? You can talk about it from Mount Sinai. It tastes like buekas. Whatever you wanted, that's what it tastes. So what are you cooking? What are you frying? For what? Who can give me an answer? No? They're not, but it tastes like anything you want. Havod. Tastes better than what HaKadosh Baruch Hu made it? Tell me why. Why would they feel better? Put an effort. So wait. So if I told you, okay, I could give you $1 million for doing nothing, I give you $1 million for working really hard. You rather go work hard? So why are you different than them? No different. Okay, next. It's a good question. It's a good answer. But we have to test ourselves. No, somebody else has an answer. I know somebody in the back has like a secret answer. I think you guys learned Kabbalah in the back over there. No, who has an answer? Huh?
Physical pleasure.
Physical pleasure. You like cooking?
No.
What, they like cooking? Why, they're different than you? No, in the back, in the back.
I'm going to forget how to cook.
They don't want to forget how to cook?
Yeah.
Why do I need to know how to cook if the food is cooking for me?
Mm-hmm. New generation, they're going to forget how to manage the cooking.
So instead of cooking every day, cook once a month. They say it cooks every day. Behind you, yes. Chazak hu baruch. Chazak hu baruch. You deserve $1 million for that answer. I'll give you payments. Chazak hu baruch. Rabotai yekarim. Rabotai yekarim. Rabotai yekarim. My dear friend just gave us an answer from the Zohar Kadosh. The Zohar Kadosh says something extraordinary, Rabotai. The Zohar Kadosh, Baruch Shekivanta, you gave us an answer worth $1 million. Zohar Kadosh says, Am Yisrael, they had a gift from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they got a gift from Shamayim. Hashem said, I'm going to give you food, whatever you like. You want candy, it'll taste like candy. You want borekas, it tastes like borekas. You want candy with borekas in it? No problem. Whatever you want, you have. But it says that the Am, who's the Am? The Am is the part of the people that did not have emunah in Hashem, did not have bitachon in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So they just simply didn't believe. Didn't believe that it could taste like anything. No, come on, it's going to taste like ice cream also. No, it tastes like ice cream. I have to put some ice in it. No, come on, it's going to taste like schnitzel. Nah, come on, for anything that tastes like schnitzel, it requires oil. No, come on, it's going to taste like barbecue without putting it on the fire, on the grill. How's it going to taste like barbecue? They rationalized the Kadosh Baruch Hu's blessing, and they cooked it, and they fried it, and they did this, and they did that. And the Zohar Kadosh says, these people were fools. Why were they fools? They took their blessing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave them, and they ruined it. They ruined it because after all of their toil, after all of their cooking, after all of their effort, what did they end up getting? They got something that was less than the original. They got cakes, which was the least level of taste and deliciousness of the man. This level of deliciousness, this level of greatness of this man. The highest level was how it came if you believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could do anything. If you believe that HaKadosh Baruch Hu could do anything, you can think about anything, that's what the man tasted like. The texture, the taste, whatever you wanted, that's what it would be. But if you didn't believe and you cooked and you fried and you did this, you ruined the blessing. So what do you get? Yes, it's still a food from heaven. Yes, it's still delicious, but it's the least level. It's like a cake you buy from the gas station after you're really hungry after a fast. That's what it is. It's still good. It's a banana flavor. But it's not manna from heaven. It's not the same. You ruin the blessing because of your lack of bitachon. So the Baalei HaMusar say on the Zohar Kadosh and Parashat Beshalach, the Baalei HaMusar say, what is this like? This is like the fools that we see around us that work too much, thinking that HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs their help. that HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs their help. People forget that yes, you're supposed to have ishtadlut, effort. Yes. But the only reason why you have to have ishtadlut, effort, is because of the curse of Adam HaRishon. Of Adam HaRishon. From the sweat of your brow, you'll bring bread. You'll have bread. Meaning that you'll have to sweat for your bread. Meaning that to work hard, manual labor, is a curse. It's not a blessing. It's not a blessing to go work 18 hours a day on Wall Street or in some bank or in UPS or wherever. It's not a blessing, it's a curse. Yeah, but Rabbi, I need to make a living. So who says you need to work 18 hours? So how do we know how much ishtadlut is too much ishtadlut? How do I know how much effort is too much effort? There's a line. What's that line? The norm. Normal amount of effort. Normal job is 9 to 5. That's norm. 8 hours. That's as much as you're supposed to allow the curse to infiltrate into your life. A minute more is now you are becoming a machmir on curses. Instead of becoming machmir, becoming more stringent on blessings, you're becoming more stringent on curses, bringing more curses on yourself. Yeah, but what about if I need more money and the 9 to 5 is not enough? Who says that the money has to come from your job? Somebody came to the Chafetz Chaim. He says, Kvod Harav, my store is not making enough money. Now if you saw the Chafetz Chaim store, there's pictures next to his store, it's like a mamash, a little hole in the wall. But he knew how to make enough to survive. He didn't live a lavish life. He didn't even allow his wife, the Rabbanit, to put tiles on the floor. Why? It has to stay dust, has to stay sand. Why? He says if you put tiles on the floor, maybe you're not going to want guests to come to the house because they're going to ruin your floor. So just leave it as dust, leave it as it is. But the Chafetz Chaim said, somebody came to him one time asking him, Kvod Harav, I have a store. It's not enough. It's not bringing enough parnasat to my family. So I'm thinking of opening a second store. So the Chafetz Chaim starts laughing. He says, no, Kvod Harav, really, seriously, I need more money. It's really serious business. It's parnasat, Kvod Harav. He goes, no, I was laughing because you reminded me of a story from my childhood. He goes, what happened in your childhood? Because when I was a kid, we had this shoteh, this drunk in a neighborhood that not only was a drunk, but he was the type of drunk that liked to give people advice. You know, some people are drunk, they're quiet, they're in a corner, but some people, they're drunk, but they like to talk to everybody. You know, they want to hug you, they want to kiss you, they want to, those types of people. There was one of those people in our neighborhood. He's not only a drunk, but he likes to give people advice with his drunkenness. And every time his advice was funnier than the next. So one time, there was a guy that was selling wine from a barrel. So he goes up to the wine guy, he says, you're not doing good. The guy, poor guy, is all day waiting for somebody to buy wine for him. He knows he's not doing great, but he's making a living, whatever he can. Because no, the drunk guy tells him, no, you don't know how to do business. He goes, okay, why don't I know how to do business? He says, you're not selling enough. I think you should add another faucet to it, another thing out of it. That way, you can have double the profits. So the guy tells him, the guy that's selling the wine, he goes, listen, I may not be a genius, or entrepreneur or anything, or some finance major, but I know that it doesn't matter how many holes I have in the barrel, it's still the same source. It doesn't matter how many holes, it's still going to be the same amount of profit, because it's the same source. So the drunk guy says, no, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me explain again. You have one hole now in the barrel, on the right. If you make one on the left, double the profit. See? I should get a half. I should get that half. He goes, no, you don't. They go back and forth, and the little Chafetz Chaim is watching, he's laughing. This is crazy, this shoteh. He's trying to explain this guy business. The other guy's trying to get him out of the place. He's bothering him. And the guy's convinced this is business advice. At the end, the drunk says to him, that's why you're poor. That's why you're poor, you know what you're doing, and he leaves. So the Chafetz Chaim says to the guy that came to him, and he says, you remind me of that story. You think that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to give you more money if you open a second store. The reality is, the source is still the same. No matter what you do, you open 1 store, 2 stores, 5 stores, or 10 stores. The Parnassah was already written in Shamayim. The Parnassah was already written in Shamayim. The Gemara says in Masechet Beitzah, Masechet Rosh Hashanah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu already decides how much Parnassah, how much money you're going to make on Rosh Hashanah. The source stays the same no matter how many storefronts you have. So what makes you think it's going to change? So of course everybody is going to say, wait a minute, what about effort? What about ishtadlut? Everybody likes to do ishtadlut. Remember that ishtadlut is part of the curse. It's not part of the blessing. Your ishtadlut has to be up to the extent of a norm, not above the norm. Don't be stringent on yourself in regards to the curse. Be stringent on yourself as far as the blessing. Make sure you spend time and effort on the blessing part. If I told you, why don't you become more stringent on kashrut? Only eat chalav Israel. You say, no, that's too much. Okay, why don't you be more stringent on tarat mishpacha? Make sure that you don't even hand the baby to your wife when she's nida. Oh no, that's too much. Okay, why don't you be more stringent on your limud Torah and your learning? Make sure that when you learn, you're not talking. 2 hours straight learning without talking. No, that's too much. Okay, so all the kedusha, all the good things, you don't want to be stringent on. But the curse you want to be stringent on. This is like Am Yisrael. That even though they just heard HaKadosh Baruch Hu speak at Mount Sinai, many of them did not have the required amount of bitachon in Hashem, that when push came to shove, when the man came, they simply could not accept the blessing for what it is. They had to ruin it. They had to interfere with it. So even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give them a blessing, even when HaKadosh Baruch Hu wanted to give them good, they were so used to being a part of everything, doing ishtadlut in everything, working hard on everything, toiling on everything, trying with everything, having their hand in everything, that when Hashem simply gave them a handout, they couldn't accept it.